back to another video, guys. TechLift here. Today I'm going to be going over my Xbox Series S 6 months later. Let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Alright guys, so as you guys know, last year, probably early, maybe mid-November, I decided to pick up an Xbox Series S. It was my first Xbox coming off of an Xbox 360 back in 2015. I had watched a few videos. I got super excited to get my hands on an Xbox again and a few titles that were bringing back some old school games that I used to play, such as Call of Duty Zombies, Battlefield 3, those sorts of things. And I was really excited to be able to game at the end of a long day. So I decided to pull the trigger and get my hands on the Xbox Series S. Now that it's been 6 months with this bad boy and I've been playing it maybe a few times a week, maybe an hour to two at the end of a long day, I have a few things to say about it. Honestly, I really can't complain. I have absolutely loved this thing. I haven't had one single issue with it. I've never had the red ring of death. I mean, I've only had it for about 6 months, but still, this thing has just been overall an amazing little piece of technology slash de-stressor, and I absolutely love it. Now, the first main thing that I liked about this that I want to touch on was the storage. Now, I say the storage in a good way because if you want high storage, you're gonna have to drop a lot of money on the Xbox Series X. I didn't want to have to do that, so the fact that I could get my hands on this bad boy for $200 to $300 with half of the storage of the super expensive higher end one, it was a no-brainer for me. Now, it comes with 512 gigabytes of storage. That wasn't too bad at all, and it wasn't a big deal breaker for me, so I still decided to go with it. Now, that will get you about 3 Xbox Series XS optimized games, or maybe 5 depending on the games if you're lucky. Now, the solution slash workaround to that is external storage. I personally don't mind doing that because I only rotate maybe 2 to 3 games at a time, and if I ever do want to switch out a game, I literally just transfer it over to my hard drive, transfer over the other game. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes max. Better than having to download a full game, which takes up to hours to do. So the fact that I could just transfer games over in 10 to 12 minutes without having to drop $600 to $800 on a console was a selling point for me. And throughout the 6 months, I haven't had any issues with the storage at all whatsoever. Now, the next biggest thing about this little beast of a console is the performance. This thing is super fast, it's insanely quiet, it comes jam-packed with features such as quick resume, be able to jump in and out of games without having to load up or boot up a whole game. You can even do that once you shut off the Xbox and turn it back on. It's just a lightning fast little console. I was not expecting this. This thing blew me out of the water. The next is the resolution. This thing does go up to 1440p. Not a big deal breaker for me considering I just got a 1440p monitor last year, and for me that was an upgrade off of 1080p, and I absolutely loved it. So 1440p on a 1440p monitor was just kind of fit for me. Now, it does do upscaled 4K on certain games such as Ori and the Wisp, or you can do 4K HDR on streaming apps such as Netflix, Disney Plus, ESPN, those types of things. Now, it does do that upscaled 4K on those certain games that I mentioned. I don't know that I've ever tried it or that I've ever actually seen it on my end, but I just know that it's capable of doing that if that's a big factor for you. Now, if it is a big factor for you, honestly, you might as well go with the Series X console. I don't even have a 4K TV or monitor, so I wouldn't even be able to tell the difference, so this thing fits my needs. Moving on from that, usually consoles are big, bulky, and just take up a bunch of room. They're normally not aesthetically pleasing. They're kind of ugly in a way. The Xbox Series S, on the other hand, has a super small footprint. The design is very minimal, modern, and just small and compact. And on top of that, it's very portable, so you can actually take this with you if you're traveling. It's perfect if you travel a lot for work, if you're going on a trip, and you have maybe 20 minutes to an hour of downtime you want to game or whatever. You can literally fit this on a carry-on, a backpack, anywhere. You can literally throw this in there. I've snuck it with me on a trip, and I must say no one ever even suspected that I was taking it with me. Overall, the size of this thing is super awesome, and it looks really cool. Next is the games. Even though you're getting a, I guess, entry-level console, it still packs all those features of the next generation consoles like the PS5, the Xbox Series X, in terms of performance, the output, how fast it is, etc. On top of that, it's totally compatible with all those games. You're not going to be limited on what games you can and can't play. Now, with that being said, this is a digital-only console. Again, I didn't mind the fact that I had to download my games. In fact, I was kind of getting sick and tired of discs because they get scratched scratched, they get lost, etc. Digital will follow you for the rest of your life. Even if I decide to upgrade my console, I can just re-download them because they're tied to my account. So I love that. And with that being said, you have the power of the internet on your console, so you can download every single game. You can get early access, you can get pre-orders, you can get same-day releases without having to go to the store, without having to download the game onto your hard drive. Some games you can even pre-download the game before it releases. That way, right at release date and time, you already have the game downloaded. You might just need to do a quick little update and you're up and running. It's freaking crazy how much gaming has evolved in 2022. Now you can do all of that from the Microsoft Store. There's so many titles to choose from. There's literally something for the entire family on there. Speaking of the family and just multiple people, if you're not going to be the only one playing this, Game Pass is a must. You have access to so many different titles, so many different genres of games. On Game Pass, it lets you download and play all these games for a set monthly fee. I believe it's $14 to $15 USD. This was a no-brainer for me considering I do play a few games and I wanted to try out all these crazy hyped up games that I normally would never buy or spend money on without having to drain my wallet, considering games cost anywhere between $60 to $70 nowadays. And it's an awesome way just to play all these games that you normally wouldn't play, and then let's say you stop playing them, you're going to start to play other games that release and come out on Game Pass, so you're really never losing value on those games. So with that being said, guys, after 6 months of owning and playing the Xbox Series S, I have nothing bad to say about this thing. I've never had any issues with it performance-wise, never had any issues looks-wise, never had any issues with the loudness or anything. It does get a little hot, but that's not even an issue because I don't really feel that, and it does its own thing, cooling itself down. For me, the Xbox Series S has been a no-brainer and has been a great addition to my whole little desk tech setup here. I don't plan on upgrading anytime soon unless I get a 4K TV and I really absolutely care about the picture. Even then, I'm probably still going to use this Series S for a good while, so this is going to be my main console for months and years to come. Months for sure. I just love how small, quiet, and powerful this little thing is. Go and swoop one up, guys. I got mine from Costco. It was around $270 with a month of Xbox Game Pass and Gold and all those sorts of things, so I swooped it up. I haven't regretted it, and I hope you guys like this video. If you're new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. New videos weekly. That's going to go ahead and do it for today's video. TechLift out.